the channel Cyberpunks and Retro Nerds. This is Tommy the Hammer hanging out with my good buddy Itwa, BC, and Dale. It is a Friday night and it also happens to be BC's pick. It's been a while, hasn't it, man?
It has been a while.
Yes.
I think the last thing we watched was Moonlight, just you and I.
Wow, yeah, that was many months ago. Great movie, by the way. What do you got tonight, man?
Today I have something that is not even close to that vein. Shark Skin Man and Peach Hip Girl. It's a Japanese film. It's directed by the guy that did movies like The Taste of Tea and Funky Forest, which are kind of like cult classics and weird Asian cinema.
So why don't we just kick off the trailer, check it out, peep that shit. We'll be right back with our opinion on Shark Skin Man and Peach Hip Girl. What a fucking title.
Yeah, that's why I chose it. I was like, it's got a long title. It's going to be great.
Yes. Stay tuned, motherfuckers.
郵便局に行ってきますだろ。
郵便局に行ってきますおじさん。
おじさんはないだろう。年子の男と駆け落ちしたの。証拠。あれじゃないですかね。地元の女じゃないですかね。サメ肌お前の舎弟だろ。お前が探して示しつけろよ。
サメ肌の女ってどんなのよ。
俺が組織の金盗んだんだよ。
なんでそんなこと。
なんでってのは本当なわけだよ。
だから組織を進め返した男を殺してほしいんだよ。だからそれがただの家出だとしても同じ金出すのかって金の話をしてるんだよ。この野郎この野郎この野郎。
突然なんかプロペラ飛行機が目の前に着陸するんです。で、なんか中からかっこいい男の人が降りてきて。
なんだ。好き。
銃を下ろして。
面白くなってんじゃねえか。なあ。
変わってる殺し屋ですか。
すかそれ。
So we just got done watching the movie Shark Skin Man and Peach Hip Girl. I gotta say, this movie kind of fell flat with me. A lot of the movie was very disjointed, confusing, and I don't know, I feel like you would start off with one set of characters and then transition into a whole new set of characters and you're like, okay, what does this apply to the prior set of characters? And I don't know, for me it never really gelled. Not one scene transitioning into the other ever really necessarily applied. I'm a little disappointed, and like, we're actually discussing this before the camera came on. Whose fault is this? Is this BC's fault? But it's ultimately mine. This is ultimately my fault. Ben had a stack of movies, a huge stack. We whittled down to this one, and I don't know, I feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like there is something, not necessarily lost in translation, but I just wasn't able to gravitate towards this movie at all.
There was a lot of, it felt like a sample platter of a lot of everything, whether it be camera work, whether it be interesting stories that it seemed like it could have gone for the characters. It always was cut off before you could really feel like, ooh, I like the direction that's going, it shifted on you. And because of that, instead of really seeing like a whole movie, or even like a movie that was like anthological, with like different stories or like really pinpointing on certain characters, it was more of like a sample platter of all these different things that can make a movie great. So you were kind of like left going through like about 2 hours of like, oh, well, I do like really good camera work, I do like really interesting characters, I like action. It's like, and so it sampled you all of these things, but it was never like enough of it to really feel like it. So at the end of the day, it was like, okay, it was like going to Sam's Club and trying like all of the samples of everything, but it's like, okay, but I mean,
that's such a good point.
Yeah, it's not a meal, but it's like, oh, there were like nice things there, but like I'm not full, you know what I mean? So that was like, that's like how it was for me. Yeah. So it's like, I guess there were enjoyable things, so I don't want to write the movie like entirely off, but it also, it's like, we kind of described it like wasted potential. It wasn't quite everything it could have been.
So yeah, I think wasted potential is the best way to put it, and I think the sample platter was a good way to put it too. There was like glimpses of stuff you really liked, you know, and then part of me also, I could have been fine with like the lack of a cohesive narrative. I really could have, if they would have upped like the freneticness and like the erraticness, But what they did was like you had these really funny, bizarre scenes for like 2 or 3 minutes, and you're cracking up and you're like loving it, and like the aesthetic of the costumes are great, the soundtrack kicks in for a little bit, you're like, this is awesome. And then you'll get like 8 minutes after that, 2 minutes of just boring dialogue and acting that you don't care about. And so it was like, you're left not really caring about what happens to the characters. And to harp on that more, title Shark Skin Man and Peach Hip Girl, and I feel like we're left with the people chasing them more than we're left with the 2 main characters. And Shark Skin Man, which is played by Tadanobu Asano, who we all like, when he's on the screen, we're having a good time.
Now, you can definitely tell that this is an adaptation from a manga series, but that's the problem with a lot of people that try to do that, is this is like a 15-issue manga jammed into 2 hours. So, it's hard to be with anything, because yeah, there's so many characters, you couldn't follow any of it, like we all agree upon. This movie was just like a scattered bowl of nonsense. But there was really fun stuff, and there had a lot of stuff that could have went well, but it just didn't pan out.
I don't think we were all blown away by it. I don't think it's a stellar film, so in my opinion, Shark Skin Man and Peach Hip Girl is, I'm gonna say, and I rarely ever rate movies like this, but I'm gonna say it's about maybe a 5, 5.5 out of 10.
That's the same thing I was going to give it.
Oh!
5 out of 10, yeah.
Yes! BC!
I was actually thinking instead of 5, 5.5, I was in between 5.5, 6.
The movie starts out as a hard 7, but it peters out as a soft 5.
Oh, that's, wow! Across the, are we all 5?
It's average to 5.5.
It's not bad, but it's not good.
Jeez!
Great.
That is so disappointing. Well, there you guys have it. That's the movie. That's the review. I hope we've been informative to you guys. Until the next time, tune in to Neon Trash.